Now, let me talk to you about the static keyword, which you've seen throughout this course. So I've been saying, please hold on because I'm going to cover it. And I think now is a perfect time for you to understand what the static keyword means. So what static means, it indicates that either a property or method belongs to the class itself rather than the instance. So let's take a look at this example here. So we have person right here. So this is an instance, right? So Alex, right? And if I open up person class, you can see that these fields right here, they belong to Alex. They belong to the instance itself. So if I create another person in here, so let me just say female, for example. Oops. And let's say that this is Jamila. And let's say Jamila Jallo. Right. So this right here, so you can see that Jamila has first name, last name, and gender, right? So the same properties that you saw in this person class. So remember person. So this class right here is a blueprint of how to instantiate the real thing. So here we have all of these properties. Now, first name, Jamila, last name, Jallo, and then gender, female, they belong to Jamila. So they belong to this instance right here. The same for Alex. First name, last name, and gender, they belong to the instance itself. Now, let me teach you static. So let's say that we want to track the number of people that gets instantiated from this class. So let's just have a public, and then I'm going to say static int and then count. So let's just say count in here, and initially this will be 0. So this now right here is a static property, and it doesn't belong to Alex nor Jamila, but it belongs to the class itself. It belongs to person class itself. So in here, what I'm going to do is at the point where we instantiate, so let's say that when we instantiate a person, I want to increment count. So I'm going to say count plus plus. And let me do the same for the other constructor in here. So we have two constructors. Now, if I go back to main, and if I want to print that count itself, I don't have to say Jamila dot count. So here, have a look. So we have count in here, right? So if I say this is incorrect because count belongs to the class. It's static, therefore belongs to the class itself. Whereas first name, as you saw, I can say Jamila dot and then get first name, for example, right? So this belongs to Jamila itself. Now, how do we access the property that we've just created? So this one here, count. Well, it's simple. If it belongs to the class, so the way we do it is we say person, which is the name of the class, dot, and then have a look. So these now are all the fields, all the properties that belong to the class. So in our case, we only can see one in here, which is count. So let me just encapsulate this into a print line. So south, there we go. And now if I run this, right click, run, you can see that we have 2. So this count variable doesn't belong to Jamila nor Alex, but it belongs to the class itself. So the same way with public static void main. So this special method, remember before, right? So we talked about this method. Now the reason why this is static is that JVM doesn't need to create a new instance of this class right here in order to invoke the main method. So from anywhere, I can just say, have a look. From anywhere, I can say the name of my class, which is main dot, and then main, have a look. I can invoke, I can run the program from anywhere. And this is why the JVM needs the main method to be static. it belongs to the class and not an instance. So if this was like this, then we would need to create a new instance. So main. So if I say main dot main, you see that I can't do it. But basically I would need to say main equals to new main, and then main dot main, right? So now you can see that I can run it. But at the point that JVM runs, there is no object available in here, right? So all it needs to do is just to invoke the main method directly instead of having to create an instance of it. So if I delete that, and to be honest, this is pretty much about the static keyword. If you have any questions on this, please do let me know. Otherwise, catch me on the next one.